super basic. Break it down. What is judgment versus what is accountability? Feel free to
word.
surf in anytime I'm chatting and just be like, yo, but yeah, and this too.
I got you.
So basically, first thing about judgment, super simple. Judgment should be left up to God. That's not our place.
Facts.
We don't get to judge other people. That's not for us. We're not the judges up there going order in the court. No, that's not us. Right? So like, what does judgment mean at the end of the day? So like, we're not supposed to judge, but like, what is it? Right? What is it? Judgment means to give a verdict to someone from their decisions or actions or whatever. So you're deciding a verdict on that, whether, in our terms of court, which, you can kind of, I guess, relate it, guilty or non-guilty, you know what I mean? And so in our decision or just everyday lives, I would say judgment is sort of a thing of deciding in your own head whether you think someone's doing something good or bad. As simple as that. But ultimately, that's not our decision. While it is an instinct as being humans to speak it out loud and even say it to that person, that's not our decision. It's not our decision, nor to gossip about it to other people.
Well, that's what. Yeah. Sorry.
So no.
We'll get into. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But just some verses that literally, just.
Book of cheats, here we go.
Book of cheats. The book of life hacks. But just so we,
read that thing.
Sorry, I got a text from one of my buddies about getting kicked out at a
recording studio.
Yeah, recording studio, because it was for a class, but I showed up a little late, and I guess that's not allowed. So anyway, so some of the verses that just reinstill what I just said is Romans 2:1. You, therefore, have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else, for at whatever point you judge another, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same things. Boom, that's such a bar, dude.
That's such a bar.
I mean, and that's so good, too, because most of the times when we do judge...
What verse is that? Did you say it?
That's Romans 2:1. And most of the times when people do judge, I mean, we all end up doing it, sometimes. But when we do judge, ultimately what it comes down to is it is a negative sort of thing. And we do end up... Yeah, gossip.
And condemning.
And condemning. And, I mean, here's another verse. This is, more popular verse, but I think it relates to it so well, because it's like not only having to do with judgment, but figuratively, if you think about it in a way of gossiping and saying harsh things. So in the context, John 8:7, when they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and he said to them, let anyone of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. So fire. I mean, it's just true though. Like, if any human on the earth,
fire and wind.
Any human, if you have not sinned, any of us, then like, who are you to put judgment on another person? It's not. Once again, not our duty. That's up to God at the end of the day.
And I think.
So.
I'm fired up. I love this because I've seen throughout my life. Obviously, I do the same thing. I'm not amazing at it, but I do take it very serious. And I've seen fellow believers judge other fellow believers and even non-believers.
Yeah.
And we'll dissect that right now, but to me, it's like super sad to see, because like what you just read, which is from the Word of God, way better said than I could ever say, because it's...
Well, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's direct.
I fall short every single day. God looks at every single sin the same.
Yeah.
We don't.
Good mention. Yeah.
We don't. We should.
Yeah.
But we don't, because we're broken. Mm-hmm. And we're not as graceful as he is.
Yeah.
And we don't love as well as he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And so as believers, have like a checklist. We kind of talked about, we were filming this on a Sunday, guys. And so at church this morning, we talked about like, always happens, God. Always happens, God. He always makes whatever happen fit in.
Yeah, so you're talking about this? Yeah, where that's going to be part of the message, so you can talk about it.
Unplanned too, but it's kind of like how like there's like we think about like little sins and like bigger sins.
Yeah.
But like, even though like, in our whole idea, like, oh, I did this, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal because I didn't do this. But guess who did this? So and so did this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
At least I didn't do this like so and so did.
Yeah.
You know? Woo-hoo.
Yeah. No, that's good. Woo. That's good. That's
and that's judging. We didn't even talk about judgmental. We just talked about really like sin and stuff for the most part. But that's judgmental.
Yeah, it is.
And like we always have, we have this like if we choose to think of it or not, we put our own sin in like different levels.
Yeah.
And we don't even know we're doing it.
Yeah.
And
then try to justify it by looking at other people.
And that's
later. I'll talk about that as well.
And that's not good. And I've seen. I mean, I'm pro church. I love the local church.
Yeah.
I love the church so much. It fires me up. I mean, you can't. I heard somebody say, which is so facts. You can't love Jesus but not like his bride. You know.
What was it again? Sorry.
You can't love Jesus and not like his bride and not love his bride. So I love the church. But with that being said.
Yeah, I get. Okay, yeah.
I've seen broken people at the church judge more broken people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that goes in, and that to me that's sad, because I mean obviously no church is perfect, no human's perfect.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, you tend to see a lot of people walk away because they feel judged.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into that later too.
And then there's this false connotation with Christians because they've seen somebody judge them. And I'm going to say this about about us Christians and non-believers. How do you expect a non-believer?
Oh, I'm about to. Yeah.
A non-believer to know Jesus if you're just going to judge them? How you show Christ through you is how you love on them. Yeah. They're not going to agree on what you agree on or live their life according to how you live their life. Why? Because they don't know Jesus.
Yeah.
So how do you expect them? You know?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like how I live my life in their eye, and I don't live it perfectly, but but my morals are going to be completely different because I know Jesus.
Yeah.
But you can't, but there's nobody, so I don't know, it pisses me off. I'm just going to flat out say that.
Yeah.
It pisses me off, seeing Christians judge others, believers and non-believers.
Yeah.
Because I've seen stories, I know stories of people walking away from their church and from Jesus because of other people judge them. I
agree.
And I know I choke up about it because that's not love.
No, yeah.
That's not what Jesus wants. Yeah.
On that little note,
I get fired up, guys.
On that little note, what is accountability? You know,
can I talk about
what is the contrast?
So,
I'm gonna just go
go
a little bit, and then I know you have a lot more to say on that, so I'll give it to you. I'll pass the mic. Now I gotta pass the mic, okay? Hey. That's some Beastie Boys, not very Jesus-y music, but still.
That's another conversation for another time.
Yeah. Still, yeah.
God can work through any genre of music.
Yes. Anyway.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, yeah. I just kicked the mic. So accountability. we were talking about a little bit in more depth about this, before we started, and sort of how, like, the main thing with accountability is, I know not only you're keeping yourself accountable. I mean, while that is huge and it is important to keep yourself accountable through God and hearing from the Holy Spirit, but you also need like-minded people, hence other Christian individuals that maybe you're close with. For example, Scotty and I.
Community.
Community, that's why community is so huge, is you need like-minded believers to be able to keep each other accountable. And I know a huge part about this. I know.
Sharpen.
Yeah, I'm going to get into I was just about to say that. But Proverbs 27:17. But, that
was a terrible sharpening it.
Hey, yeah, the intro was literally just me sharpening my sword.
No, you dropped your
I dropped it, though.
Symbol.
I dropped the sword. Sorry. No, but like-minded individuals to keep each other accountable. And a lot of that has to do with also, mentioning to each other, hey, when I fall short, make sure you keep me accountable for my actions. And if I'm doing something that's, like, not how we're supposed to live, tell me. Tell me, because I want to grow better every day.
And it takes humility to do that.
It does take humility to do that, but it can be very powerful. And I honestly think it's...
Oh, no, for sure.
It's very important as well.
100%.
Hence, Proverbs 27:17, Scotty was hinting on this. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Simple as that. Another verse I wanted to talk about, which was also speaking more on keeping yourself accountable and, once again, not judging others, was Romans 14:10-13. Then why do you judge your brother or sister? Or why do you treat them with contempt? For we will all stand before God's judgment seat. It is written, as surely as I live, says the Lord, every knee will bow before me, every tongue will acknowledge God. So then, each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. Therefore, let us stop passing judgment on one another. Instead, make up your mind not to put any stumbling block or obstacle in the way of a brother. So, that's kind of long, but let's, to break it down once again in just simple terms, leave judgment up to God. Give yourself to God and hold yourself accountable as well, right? So not only submitting to God is going to help with that, but making sure that you hold yourself accountable so that, in a sense, when you do slip up, you're not trying to blame it on other things. Yeah, okay. Great example is, I know lust is a very, prominent topic, at least for me to talk about, is say you're scrolling on Instagram and whatever, a picture pops up, triggers some sort of reaction in your head, hence human beings, you're going to get that reaction, but, you slip up, right? You're going to blame that on the post or the person who they did this, they did that. Well, at that point, you're just backtracking and you're being like Adam after they sinned. Well, the woman told me it was okay. Yeah, but what did he tell you?
That's good.
What did he tell you?
That's good.
So...
quick to point fingers.
Yeah, quick to point fingers. So, I think that's huge. And instead of holding judgment over one's head, make sure that you work hand in hand with your brothers and sisters, not against them.
For real. When you're kind of... Actually, I'll save this for later. But, yeah, I'm kind of going... The whole idea of judgment versus accountability. How I've seen people approach it. How I've seen people approach it has been poor. Not everybody, but some people. And understanding that with the accountability part, one, it takes humility. Because some people think they can just do it with them and God. Mm-hmm. But that's not what we're not supposed to do that. And that's what community is huge. Yeah. That and also for accountability, you don't just like if I'll use this as an example. It'll be better for me to say. If I just met Julian, just met you, and I saw you do something, and I'm like, yo, you shouldn't have done that. Well, that's judgment.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't know you. I don't. Yeah. You might be like, yo, I'm a Christian. I'm like, dope. You did something that in my eyes, you shouldn't have done. Well, and I tell you, and you would be like, why'd you say that to me? Because we have no relationship, and I feel like a lot of people are, especially a lot of believers, are so quick in their eyes. I don't know, pointing my head. In their eyes, and their eyes, they go straight to, with good intentions. Oh, I want to walk in life with this person. I'm going to keep them accountable because I heard so-and-so did this, or I saw so-and-so do this. Well, you don't know that person. And the way to get to know that person is, as much as your relationship with God is so important, you got to actually know that person, which means you got to do life together. You got to go get a lunch, you know? And with that being said, some accountability comes naturally. Why? Because you've went through life with somebody. And then secondly, you don't make somebody accountable if they don't ask for it. Yeah. You know? Because again, you can have the right intentions, but people start to keep, I'm going to keep so-and-so accountable, because that's what God tells us to do. Yes, you're right, but you don't freaking know that person. Yeah. And it turns into judgment. It does. It turns into judgment because your eyes are not the same. You're not seen in the same way that the other person's are. And I think that's huge right now in the church and just in Christian communities, period, is the tensions might be nice, but the relationship isn't there for you to do that. Yeah. And then the person who's receiving it takes it as judgment because they don't see it in the same lens as you do. Because there's no relationship built. Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen that firsthand in multiple seasons of life. And it doesn't even need to be sin related. Yeah. Like, I think it could be anything. It could be anything. Like people just see not even like a sinful action, just maybe a decision just a regular life decision that they made that so-and-so might have not made, but you made, or vice versa. And they go straight to, oh, I don't agree on this life decision. I'm going to keep them accountable.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you do see that. Yeah.
Yo, my boy, that's my decision I made. Or like, don't judge me about it. Yeah. Because you're not me and you don't know why I made that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, I've seen that from me in different seasons of life. Again, not necessarily the sinful stuff. That too, for sure. But I've seen it, I think the other way too. I feel like people don't see as a bad thing because it's not sin related, but I'm like, you're still judging that person. Yeah. For a decision they made that maybe you might have not made, but like, yo, you ain't me. And yo, you ain't God. So like, yeah. Like how? So not to judge my heart about what the decisions I made, you know?
Yeah. No, I got you.
I don't know. It pumps me up. Part of it because of experience. Yeah.